Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Otherwise you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3 at gmail.com on PayPal. This one here is a question. Why did the Islamophobia law not pass in Sweden? The short answer is that there wasn't a clear signal Islamophobia law in Sweden in the way people sometimes describe it. What actually happened is a mix of political disagreement over terminology, strong constitutional free speech protections, and legal limits on restricting expression, which together prevent tougher or specific legislation targeting Islamophobia. Disagreement over the concept itself. Swedish officials have recently moved away from overusing the term Islamophobia. In 2026, the government said the term is problematic and prefers alternatives like anti-Muslim racism or anti-Muslim hatred. Why this matters? Critics argue Islamophobia can blur the line between criticism of religion, protected speech, and hatred towards people, illegal discrimination. Because of this ambiguity, lawmakers have struggled to build consensus around a law framed specifically around Islamophobia. Two, strong free speech laws make new restrictions difficult. Sweden has very strong constitutional protections for freedom of expression and assembly. Courts and police have repeatedly allowed controversial acts like Quran burnings because burning them would violate free speech rights. The government has also ruled out sweeping changes to free speech laws, even amid international pressure. Why this matters? Any law specifically targeting Islamophobia would likely restrict speech, which clashes with constitutional protections. Courts require clear legal grounds to limit expression, and those grounds are currently narrow. Three, existing laws already cover hate crimes. Sweden already has laws against hate speech, incitement against a group, discrimination, and racism. So instead of creating a new Islamophobia law, policymakers often argue anti-Muslim hatred should be handled under existing anti-racism or hate crime frameworks rather than a new religion-specific law. Four, political divisions. Sweden's political landscape is divided on the issue. Right-leaning and nationalistic parties like the Sweden Democrats oppose new restrictions tied to religion or speech. Others want stronger protections for Muslims but disagree on how to define and legislate the problem. The lack of consensus makes passing the new legislation difficult. Five, the core tension, speech versus protection. Recent controversies like Quran burning highlight the central dilemma. The government has condemned such acts so offensive or Islamophobic, but still allows them legally to uphold free speech principles. That tension is the key reason no specific Islamophobia law has passed. The bottom line, the law didn't fail because of one vote. It's more structural. The term itself is contested. Free speech protections are very strong. Existing laws already cover hate crimes, and political agreement is lacking. All of that makes a specific Islamophobia law hard to define, justify, and pass in Sweden. A good way to understand Sweden is to see it as one end of the spectrum. The UK, France, and Sweden all try to balance two things: protecting people, including Muslims, from hatred, protecting freedom to criticise religion, but they draw that line in different places. UK broad hate speech laws but no Islamophobia law. In the UK, there's already a fairly developed legal framework. Laws like the Public Order Act 1986 and Racial and Religious Hatred Act 2006 make it illegal to use threatening and abusive speech intended to stir up hatred against a religious group. So Muslims are protected as a religious group, not via a special Islamophobia law. Key tensions in the UK. The government rejected a formal definition of Islamophobia in 2019 because it might restrict free speech. Even your proposals stress protecting the rights to criticise Islam. So the UK approach is strong hate speech laws already exist, but no religion specific law and definitions are controversial. In France, much stricter on hate speech but also aggressively secular. France actually has stricter hate speech laws than the UK or Sweden. It criminalises inciting hatred against a religion, insulting or defaming religious groups. Penalties can include fines and prison, but at the same time, France strongly follows laicite, strict secularism. That means the state does not protect religions from criticism or effect. For example, blasphemy is legal. You can mock religion, but attacking people because of religion is illegal. So France's model is stronger legal enforcement against hate speech in the UK than the UK, but even stronger protection of the right to criticise religion. That's why France can both prosecute anti-Muslim hatred and still allow things like cartoons or satire of Islam. Sweden, strong free speech, harder to pass new laws. Sweden sits closer to a free speech first model. It already bans hate speech like the UK and France, but it is more cautious about expanding restrictions, as we have heard. So, my consideration on this is, what is Islamophobia? Is the question that I would ask. If is the if Islamophobia as a concept is the fear of Muslims, well, it's not an irrational fear, because since the Twin Towers fell on 9/11, there has been 56,000 Muslim terrorist attacks around the world. So I don't call Islamophobia an irrational fear. It is a fear. Yes, there are good, honest, and proper Muslims who practice the religion in the right way. But that when you flip the coin, there's radical extremists whose only task in life is to kill the infidels and the unbelievers and make them do taqiyya, which in Islam means submission. And I, as a Christian, will never submit to an Islamophobia law or Islamophobia itself, because Islamophobia means an irrational fear, but Islamophobia is not irrational fear. It is a very clear and present danger. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.